Earth had tried to warn them. For decades after joining the Galactic Alliance, human diplomats showed proof of the Void Strider threat hiding in the dark spaces between spiral arms. Strange disappearances of scout ships, odd energy readings, and cut-off distress calls, all ignored by the ancient species that led Galactic Command. They called it human paranoia or primitive fear. Admiral Hannah Park stood before the Defense Council again. The 7 elder races stared at her with bored eyes. Her evidence was solid: 3 more scout ships lost near the Cygnus Void, strange energy patterns matching those from 5 years ago, and fragments of unknown metal that didn't match any known Alliance technology. As you can see from the data, the pattern is clear, Hannah said, pointing to the star map. Something is moving through this sector, testing our defenses. The Alliance commander, a tall being with pale skin, sighed loudly. Admiral Park, humans have been Alliance members for barely a century. We have maintained peace for millennia. These stories of yours take time away from real problems. Hannah felt her face grow warm, but kept her voice calm. Commander, with respect, ignoring threats doesn't make them go away. There is no threat, said Counselor Mogg, his 4 eyes blinking in different patterns. Your species sees enemies in shadows because you evolved as both hunters and prey. It colors your thinking. Hannah looked around the room. None of the elder races showed any concern. They had grown soft in their long peace, forgetting what it meant to fight for survival. Humans hadn't forgotten. This meeting is over, the commander said, standing. Earth's concerns are noted. Again. Hannah gathered her data tablets and left without another word. Outside the chamber, her assistant Juno waited. Same result, he asked, though he already knew the answer. They still think we're seeing ghosts, Hannah said. Call home. Tell them to activate Plan Cassandra. Juno's eyes widened. Are you sure? Once we start. We've given them every chance, Hannah said. They won't listen. We need to protect ourselves. Back on Earth, Defense Minister Sun Woo-choi received the message with grim satisfaction. For 10 years, Earth had been building secret defenses and technologies far beyond what they shared with the Alliance. Now those preparations would pay off. Send the order to all hidden bases, Sun Woo told his staff. Project Cassandra is now active. Across the solar system and in secret locations throughout human-controlled space, commanders received the coded message. Hidden shipyards kicked into high gear. Weapon systems moved from testing to deployment. Stealth satellites activated around every human world. Captain Do-hyun Kim supervised the loading of quantum torpedoes onto his ship, the EDS Silent Hunter. His vessel was one of 300 that officially didn't exist. How long do you think we have? Asked his second-in-command. Not long, Do-hyun said. The signs are getting stronger. The Void Striders are almost ready to move. At the edge of human space, Dr. Jia Son monitored her early warning network. Strange readings had been increasing for months. Today they spiked again. They're getting bolder, she told her team. Testing how much they can do before we notice. But we have noticed, said her colleague. Yes, Jia said. And they think that doesn't matter because Galactic Command isn't taking action. They don't realize that humans have been preparing on our own. On the secret military base beneath the lunar surface, General Hyunki Ryu watched as the final pieces of the dimensional lattice were prepared for deployment. This technology, forbidden by alliance treaties, would be Earth's secret weapon. Will it work? Asked a young officer beside him. It will, Hyunki said. The Void Striders travel by slipping between dimensions. Our lattice will trap them when they try. At Earthfleet headquarters, Admiral Hannah met with her War Council after returning from Galactic Command. They still won't listen, she told the assembled officers. We're on our own. Not entirely, said Admiral Jin-woo Park. We have allies among the younger races. They've seen the signs too. Hannah nodded. Good. We'll need them. But the main defense falls to us. She turned to the star map showing the latest Void Strider activities. They're getting ready for a full invasion. And when they come, Galactic Command will fall quickly. They've forgotten how to fight. And we haven't, said Jean Wu. No, Hannah agreed. We haven't. Earth has been preparing for this day. When the Void Striders come, we'll be ready. And after? Asked a voice from the back. Hannah's face was hard but determined. After we save the Alliance from this threat, they'll have to listen to us. Earth will take its rightful place as an equal, not a junior member to be ignored. The room fell silent as everyone considered what was coming: war, sacrifice, and if they succeeded, a new future for humanity among the stars. The Void Striders struck without warning. Their obsidian ships appeared at the same time at 7 important Alliance hubs, passing through defense systems as if they weren't there. The Elder Race's proud fleets were destroyed within hours. Ambassador June Kim watched from the Galactic Command's central chamber on Centauri Prime as panic spread. Emergency lights flashed red across the room. Voices shouted over each other in 20 different languages. On the main screen, black ships with strange purple lights cut through the Alliance's best ships like they were made of paper. This is impossible, said a tall Regalan diplomat. Our defense grid is the strongest in the galaxy. Clearly not, June said quietly, watching as another Alliance cruiser exploded. The Alliance commander, who had dismissed Earth's warnings just weeks before, stumbled across the room to where the human delegation stood calmly observing the chaos. His usual perfect appearance was gone. His uniform was wrinkled, and fear showed clearly on his face. You knew, he whispered to June. How did you know this would happen? June's face showed nothing. We've been fighting our own wars for thousands of years before we met you. We recognized the signs of an ambush. What June didn't say was that Earth had been doing more than just recognizing signs. They had been preparing for this exact moment. In his private quarters, June opened a secure channel to Earthfleet headquarters. Admiral Hannah Park's face appeared on the screen. It's happened, June said simply. Hannah nodded. All 7 sites at once, just as we predicted. How bad is it? The Alliance fleet is being destroyed. They had no idea what hit them. And the Elder Races? In complete shock. But Commander just asked me how we knew. Hannah allowed herself a small smile. Activate your emergency beacon. We'll need to extract you before Phase 2 begins. On the Alliance defense station orbiting Proxima Centauri, Lieutenant Nina Seo watched as the last Alliance ships tried to escape the Black Voidstrider vessels. She had been stationed here as an observer for Earth, but her real mission was about to begin. Final Alliance destroyer has been destroyed, reported her AI assistant. Station defenses will fail in approximately 3 minutes. Nina nodded and pressed her palm against a hidden scanner in her quarters. A panel slid open, revealing equipment no human was supposed to have in Alliance space. Quantum beacon activated, she said, placing a small black device on the floor. Earthfleet will have our exact position now. Across the 7 battlefronts, other hidden human operatives did the same. Earth had placed its people strategically throughout Alliance space, preparing for this day. In deep space, hiding in the shadow of a gas giant, Captain Minji Lee received the signal on her ship, the EDS Thermopylae. All beacons are active, Captain, her sensor officer reported. We have precise positions of all Voidstrider ships. Minji nodded. She stood on the bridge of a vessel that officially didn't exist. Around her, crew members worked at stations filled with technology the Alliance had forbidden. The Thermopylae was just one of 500 ships in Earth's hidden fleet. All vessels report ready, Captain, her XO announced. The Elder Race's fleets are basically gone. The Voidstriders are beginning to land troops on Alliance worlds. Perfect timing, Minji said. Signal the fleet. Drop stealth fields on my mark. Throughout Alliance space, in systems thought to be empty or in the shadow of planets and asteroids, Earth's ships waited. They had been built in secret, crewed by Earth's best, and equipped with weapons the Elder Races had deemed too dangerous. 3, 2, 1, mark, Minji said. 500 ships became visible at once across Alliance space. On galactic command screens, alarms blared as sensors detected the sudden appearance of a massive human fleet. What is this? the Alliance commander demanded, grabbing June's arm. What has Earth done? What you wouldn't do, June replied calmly. Prepare. On the Thermopylae, Minji opened a channel to her fleet. All ships, this is Captain Lee. Begin Phase 1. Target Voidstrider vessels using quantum targeting data. She turned to her weapons officer. Fire dimensional disruptors. Weapons that shouldn't exist lashed out from Earth ships, striking the Voidstrider vessels with pinpoint accuracy. For the first time, the black ships seemed vulnerable as the human weapons hit targets the Alliance couldn't even detect properly. Message from Admiral Park, Captain, the communications officer said. Operation Trojan Horse is officially a go. Minji nodded. Set course for Sector 7. Let's show these Voidstriders what happens when you corner humans. Earth's fleet didn't move to defend Alliance worlds as expected. Instead, they followed a complex pattern, herding the Voidstrider ships toward specific coordinates that seemed random to outside observers. The trap was being set, and the Voidstriders were following exactly as Earth had planned. While publicly following Alliance shipbuilding rules, Earth had secretly built a shadow fleet in the asteroid belts of empty star systems. These ships used technology the elder races had called too dangerous: adaptive quantum shields, dimension-jumping drives, and gravity weapons. Captain Minji Lee stood on the bridge of the EDS Thermopylae as the hidden fleet revealed itself. 500 ships appeared at once across Alliance space. They're taking the bait, said her executive officer, Juno. He pointed to the tactical display where the black Voidstrider ships were changing course to pursue Earth vessels. They've never seen our technology before. They're curious. Minji smiled. Curiosity killed the cat. Captain? Juno looked confused by the old Earth saying. It means being too curious can be dangerous, Minji explained. The Voidstriders think they've found new prey. Instead, they're walking into our trap. Deep in the ship's engine room, Chief Engineer Do-hyun worked with his team to keep the dimensional drive stable. The technology had been forbidden by Alliance treaties because the elder races feared its power. Humans had developed it anyway, in secret. Power levels at 92%, called one of his engineers. Drive is stable. Good, Do-hyun said. We'll need everything we've got for what's coming. The Thermopylae shuddered as a Voidstrider weapon grazed their shields. Minji gripped her command chair. Damage report? Shields holding at 86%, reported the tactical officer. Their weapons are powerful, but our quantum shields adapt quickly. Minji nodded. Continue course to the rendezvous point. Make it look like we're running scared. The ship accelerated, seemingly fleeing from the pursuing Voidstriders. 7 of the black ships followed, exactly as planned. Across Alliance space, the same scene played out hundreds of times. Earth ships appeared, engaged briefly with Voidstrider vessels, then retreated along specific paths. The Voidstriders, confident in their superior technology, followed eagerly. On the Alliance capital world, Ambassador Jun Kim watched the battle unfold on command center screens. The Alliance leaders looked both confused and angry. What is this? Demanded the Alliance commander. Where did these human ships come from? They're not registered in any fleet database. I believe, Jun said calmly, that my government will provide a full explanation once the current crisis is resolved. This is a treaty violation, shouted a Reg Allen counselor. These ships are using forbidden technologies. Would you prefer we let the Voidstriders destroy everything? Jun asked. The room fell silent. Back on the Thermopylae, Minji received a communication from Earth Fleet Command. Phase 1 completion rate at 87%, Captain, Admiral Hannah's voice came through. The Voidstriders are following our ships to all designated coordinates. Begin Phase 2 on my mark. Understood, Admiral, Minji replied. She turned to her crew. Prepare dimensional lattice projectors. We'll only get one chance at this. In the science lab aboard the Thermopylae, Dr. Jiho Park made final adjustments to the lattice control systems. This was his life's work, a way to trap beings that could move between dimensions. The lattice is ready, Captain, he reported to the bridge. field generators at full power. Throughout human space, 500 ships reached their precisely calculated positions. The Void Striders, thinking they were chasing retreating prey, had followed exactly as planned. Now, Earth had them right where they wanted them. All ships report ready, Admiral, Minji said. Very good, Captain, Admiral Hannah responded. Begin Phase 2, now. Minji gave the order. Activate Dimensional Lattice. The Thermopylae released strange energy waves that spread outward, connecting with similar waves from other Earth ships. Together, they created an invisible net in dimensions humans couldn't see but Void Striders used to travel. On the tactical display, the 7 pursuing Void Strider ships suddenly stopped. Their smooth movements became jerky, like insects caught in a spider's web. It's working! Juno exclaimed. They're trapped. Minji nodded. Now for Phase 3. Target weapons on their main drive sections. The Thermopylae's gravity weapons powered up. Unlike regular weapons that hit a ship's hull, these attack the space around the target, crushing it with intense gravity fields. Across human-controlled space, the same scene played out hundreds of times. Void Strider ships, trapped by the dimensional lattice, found themselves unable to escape or phase between realities. Earth ships, using weapons the Alliance had forbidden, methodically disabled or destroyed the invaders. On the Alliance capital, June watched as the tide of battle turned completely. The Void Striders, so terrifying and unstoppable just hours ago, were now being systematically defeated by Earth's hidden fleet. Impossible, whispered the Alliance commander, watching the displays. How did you do this? We prepared, June said simply. While you ignored our warnings, Earth built what was needed to fight this enemy. Why didn't you tell us about these ships? These weapons? June gave him a long look. Would you have listened? Or would you have demanded we dismantle everything because it violated your precious treaties? The commander had no answer. By the end of the day, reports came in from across Alliance space. The Void Strider attack had been stopped. Earth's hidden fleet had saved the Alliance, using technologies that, just yesterday, would have gotten humans expelled from Galactic Command. Tomorrow would bring new questions, new politics. But today, Earth had proven itself. And nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. The Void Striders found themselves drawn into Earth's carefully planned trap. Each human ship sent out a special quantum signal that, to the invaders, looked like weak points in reality, the same kind of gaps they used for travel. But when they tried to use these points, they discovered something they had never faced before. Dr. Tejo Khan stood on the observation deck of the science vessel EDS Curiosity. The ship hung back from the main battle, sensors recording everything. This was the moment Tejo had worked toward for 15 years. They're all in position now, said General Jaiwu beside him. She pointed to the tactical display where hundreds of red dots representing Void Strider ships had followed Earth vessels to specific points in space. Is it going to work? It will, Tejo said, though his hands shook slightly. The math is solid. What neither of them said was the obvious truth: no one had ever tried to trap beings that could move between dimensions before. If Tejo's calculations were wrong, the Earth fleet would be destroyed, and the Alliance would fall. The dimensional lattice, a huge web of connected space anchors, activated exactly as the enemy fleet converged on what seemed to be Earth's retreat. Each ship in Earth's fleet generated part of the lattice, creating a trap that existed in multiple dimensions at once. On the main screen, Tejo watched as the Void Strider ships suddenly stopped their smooth movements. They jerked and twitched like flies caught in a spider's web. It's working, he whispered, barely believing his eyes. The lattice is holding them. The Void Strider's greatest strength, their ability to shift between dimensions, had become their greatest weakness. Earth had mapped their travel paths and created a cage that locked them in place. On the bridge of the Thermopylae, Captain Minji Lee watched as the trapped Void Strider ships tried desperately to escape. All ships report the same thing, Captain, her communications officer said. The Void Striders are caught in the lattice across all sectors. Minji nodded. Begin Phase 3. Tell all ships to target their drive systems. Earth's fleet opened fire with weapons that the Alliance had banned long ago. Gravity lances tore through space, crushing Voidstrider ships from the inside out. Quantum torpedoes exploded in multiple dimensions at once, damaging the enemy in ways they couldn't defend against. A Voidstrider commander, desperate to escape, tried to overpower the lattice by forcing his ship to jump dimensions. The vessel shuddered, its black hull cracking with purple energy, then imploded spectacularly as the lattice snapped it back into normal space with devastating force. "Record everything," Tejo told his science team on the Curiosity. "Every bit of data is precious." For beings used to moving freely through reality, the sudden confinement was more than just a tactical defeat, it was psychologically devastating. Some Voidstrider ships simply shut down, their crews seemingly in shock at their imprisonment. On the Alliance capital world, Ambassador Jun Kim watched the battle unfold on the command center screens. The room had fallen silent as the Alliance leaders witnessed the impossible. The unstoppable Voidstriders were being systematically destroyed by Earth's fleet. "How?" the Alliance commander asked quietly. "How did you know how to trap them?" "We studied them," June replied. "For years, while you ignored our reports, we collected every scrap of data from every encounter. We analyzed their movement patterns, the energy signatures they left behind. We learned how they travel between dimensions, and we found a way to use that against them." The commander stared at him. "The Alliance banned dimensional research centuries ago. The risks were too great." "Yes," June agreed. "And that is why the Alliance was losing until we stepped in. Some risks are worth taking when survival is at stake." Back at the front lines, the battle was turning into a rout. Unable to escape the dimensional lattice, the Voidstrider ships were being systematically disabled or destroyed. Their fearsome weapons were useless against targets they couldn't reach, and their dimensional jumping ability, their greatest advantage, had become a deadly trap. On the Curiosity, Tejo monitored the lattice stability. "It's holding better than I predicted," he told General Jaiwoo. "Their attempts to break free are actually strengthening the connections between lattice points." "So the more they struggle, the tighter the trap becomes?" Jaiwoo asked. "Exactly," Tejo said with a smile. "It's perfect." Perfect was the right word. Earth had created not just a weapon but a complete strategy that turned the enemy's strength against them. The Voidstriders, who had terrified the galaxy with their ability to appear anywhere and vanish just as quickly, were now fixed in place, unable to escape. Within hours, the battle had become a cleanup operation. Earthships methodically disabled or captured Voidstrider vessels. The few enemy ships that managed to partially break free from the lattice were quickly recaptured or destroyed. A message came through to all Earth vessels from Admiral Hannah Park: Phase 3 complete. Begin recovery operations and prepare for prisoner processing. Well done, everyone. Earth has them right where we want them. As the battle wound down, Tejo looked out at the stars. "We did it," he said quietly. "We actually did it." "Yes," agreed General Jaiwoo. "And tomorrow, the galaxy will be a very different place." 3 weeks after the invasion began, it ended. The Voidstrider fleet was either captured or destroyed. Earth's hidden technologies had proved decisive in the victory, and humanity's position within the Alliance had changed overnight. In the rebuilt Galactic Command Chamber, Admiral Hannah Park stood not as someone asking for attention but as the head of the newly formed Defense Directorate. Around her sat representatives of all Alliance species, including the humbled elder races who had once dismissed her warnings. "The final count shows we captured 217 Voidstrider vessels intact and destroyed 392, Hannah reported. "Our scientists are studying their technology now. We believe we can develop even better defenses against any future threats." The room was silent. Just 3 weeks ago, these same Alliance leaders had feared total destruction. Now they were safe, but the cost was a complete shift in power. Earth, once seen as a junior member of the Alliance, had saved them all. "We could have shared our defensive technologies years ago," Hannah continued, looking around the room. "But you made it clear our input wasn't valued or wanted. We chose to protect ourselves and, by doing so, protected all of you as well." The Alliance commander, his position now much weaker than before, leaned forward. "Why not simply leave the Alliance when we ignored your warnings? Why stay if we treated you so poorly? Hannah smiled slightly. Because humans don't abandon their allies, even when those allies don't see the danger. We knew the Void Striders would come eventually, and we knew exactly how the Alliance would respond, with denial, then panic, then defeat. So we created a plan where we could save everyone while proving our worth. You used us as bait, accused a Regalan counselor, his voice bitter. No, Hannah corrected firmly. We used ourselves as bait and you as motivation. Earth has them right where we want them, contained, studied, and no longer a threat. The question now is, will Galactic Command continue ignoring our warnings, or are you ready to listen? The chamber fell silent as everyone understood what this meant. Humanity hadn't just saved the Alliance, they had cleverly changed it from within. After the meeting, Hannah met with her team in the Earth Embassy. Ambassador Jun Kim poured drinks for everyone. To success, he said, raising his glass. To necessary risks, added Dr. Taeho Kong, who had created the dimensional lattice that trapped the Void Striders. Hannah took a small sip. The Alliance Council has approved all our requests. They've lifted the bans on quantum research and dimensional technology. They've also agreed to our new defense protocols. And the new command structure, asked Captain Minji Lee, who had joined them from the Thermopylae. Earth will lead the Defense Directorate for the next 10 years, Hannah confirmed. After that, leadership will rotate among qualified species, not just the elder races. They had no choice, June pointed out. We saved them when their ancient wisdom failed. True, Hannah agreed. But we need to be careful now. We've gained power and respect, but we could easily lose both if we become as arrogant as the elder races were. On the newly established research station orbiting Jupiter, scientists from 20 different Alliance species worked together studying captured Voidstrider technology. Dr. Taeho supervised the main research team, sharing Earth's knowledge freely with former rivals. This component seems to be how they detect dimensional weaknesses, explained a young Regalan scientist, pointing to a strange crystal in a Voidstrider engine. Yes, Taeho agreed. And if we can understand it fully, we might be able to strengthen those weak points and prevent any future incursions. The scientist looked at him with newfound respect. Your people saw this threat coming when no one else did. How? Taeho smiled. We never forgot how to look for dangers. The elder races had peace for so long they stopped believing threats could exist. In Earth's lunar military base, General Jaiwoo oversaw the training of the first mixed-species defense force. Alliance soldiers who once looked down on humans now eagerly learned Earth combat techniques and technologies. The dimensional lattice projector is delicate, a human instructor explained to a group of alien soldiers. You must keep the alignment perfect or it will fail when deployed. The soldiers listened with total focus. No one doubted Earth's expertise now. Back in her office at Galactic Command, Admiral Hannah reviewed reports from across Alliance space. Reconstruction was progressing well. New defense systems based on Earth technology were being installed at key locations. The Alliance, once fractured by the Voidstrider attack, was now more united than ever, with Earth at its center. A message arrived from the Alliance Council. They had unanimously approved the new treaty Hannah had proposed, officially recognizing Earth as a senior member with full voting rights on all matters. Hannah smiled as she closed the report. The path had been difficult and dangerous. They had taken enormous risks, both in developing forbidden technologies and in allowing the Voidstrider attack to begin before revealing their full strength. But it had worked. Earth had warned them. The Alliance had ignored those warnings. And now Earth had them right where it wanted them, safe, grateful, and finally ready to listen.